Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. It is a great honor to present this segment to you. We have with us today Kent MacDonald, who is the president of Northwood University, and he is joined by Brooke Engelhardt, who is a marketing student at Northwood University. Not only that, but Brooke also is the marketing chair at the 60th Annual International Auto Show. I had a chance to meet both of them in person just a few months back in October. Kent and Brooke, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Great to be here, Ted. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. And Brooke, happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you.
Excited about this segment. Kent, you and I met when we were up there for the 60th Annual International Auto Show in October of just last year. And great opportunity. I'd like to ask you a few questions today. And of course, thank you for Northwood's participation at the Fixed Ops Roundtable as well. We've really enjoyed the time working with your people, your staff, your students, and just a whole lot of opportunity coming out of Northwood.
Oh, it is great to be here, Ted. You know, many of your listeners have good connections to Northwood. Some of your sponsors do as well. And so it's a joy for us to be able to share some latest and greatest news coming from Northwood, particularly having a student here as well. Good morning. Hi, Brooke.
And Kent, I thought that the highlight of our last event were the students of Northwood University. And I want to talk to you today and ask you about building the foundation for a successful career, particularly in the automotive industry. It's been known for a long time, and probably more important now than ever, that it starts at Northwood University. Kent, why is that?
There's a lot of layers to it, Ted. I think history plays an important role, but in that history, Northwood continues to be well grounded in what the founders of Northwood thought a university should be. That was all the way back in 1959, and if you could dial back to 59, that was the same moment that Cuba fell to Castro. That same year, we had 70 countries meeting in the Soviet Union about exploring communism, and here in America, that was really troubling to a lot of people, in particular our founders. So we have this deep commitment to what we think has made America the greatest republic in the world, and that is this commitment to free enterprise and personal responsibility. We'll touch on that maybe a little bit later, but those themes have continued on, and we're really unequivocal in terms of what we think a university is meant to be. And there's a lot of debate, among some faculty, and I get very philosophical. But when you speak with the students, like Brooke, and you speak with their parents, there's no confusion that they expect an education to be an investment that's going to lead to a better life. And so for us, it's our students being prepared to go out and join industry and make a real difference. And we believe that is our mission. And I think that's why Northwood students and graduates continue to get multiple job offers when they're leaving here, in particular in the automotive, mobility, the aftermarket sector. And look forward to explaining a little bit more about that as we go through this.
Kent, one of the things that impressed me most is that your students are looking forward to a successful business career, many of them in the automotive industry. I mean, they know about the automotive industry. They can speak to the automotive industry. They've got internship experience, hands-on experience. And what does that look like now? Here we are, first few weeks of the new year in 2024. What does that look like?
Well, for us, our students, I think it's first of all grounded in a philosophy, and we did a survey to ensure that our programs and our curricula remains current. And one of the people we surveyed said, why I always hire Northwood graduates is they know how to make money, and so. We deeply believe, first of all, from a student point of view, that democratic capitalism is extremely important. It raises all boats. It gives communities hope. It lets people get out of their beds in the morning and make a difference. So with that philosophy, then you have a culture here, Ted, when you were on campus, as you mentioned, our 60 years of having our auto show. So it's grounded in our culture, not only in our automotive management program and our aftermarket program, but students who are taking marketing and finance and supply chain management, cybersecurity, all of these things are related back into the automotive or mobility sector. And so our graduates are, they come out knowing the industry, they know how to speak the language, so they are able to hit the ground running as soon as they graduate. And I think it's not one simple thing. It's just decades of developing a culture where all of these things are important.
Kent and Brooke, it's an exciting time to be in the automotive industry. Probably, I don't remember a time anywhere near such as today, and the opportunities that young people have coming into the industry. Kent, why is it that the industry continues to view Northwood as the school to launch automotive careers? I mean, and I'll ask Brooke about this. There's a lot of choices out there for parents and students, but Kent, it seems to us that Northwood is the school.
Yeah, I think again, it's built in history. We're into third generation individuals now, where some of our students or grandparents came to Northwood, so that life cycle has been really helpful to us, as well as our connection into industry. Many of your supporters and sponsors are very close to us, friends of ours. And Brooke, I'm not sure if you've had job offers, but I can say this with great excitement, that our graduates literally have multiple job offers when they're leaving Northwood. And again, our experiential opportunities, our internships that industry offer our students. I think that the industry basically feels comfortable knowing that by connecting with Northwood, by sponsoring students through scholarships, which a lot of industries do for us, providing them internships, and then being in this culture that still, supports this idea of free enterprise and personal responsibility. You put all of that together, I think it's a magical solution for Northwood. All the people who've come well before me, I apply the Hippocratic Oath to me, and that is do no harm to this strength that Northwood has. And going into these next several years, I agree, Ted, this is a remarkable time to be in the automotive industry, and we're glad that Northwood University is leading the way in terms of education and training.
Kent, you mentioned Brooke. I know she is one of your brightest students, and she was very instrumental in organizing this year's 60th International Auto Show. Before we get, and Brooke, I have questions for you. Before I do, Ken, I'd like you to help set the stage. Tell us more about what we hear is the Northwood idea. Give us some of the color behind that, if you would.
Sure. So we're really clear where Northwood stands as a university. It actually goes back all the way to 1963. There was a gentleman by the name of Dr. Orville Watts. He joined Northwood. He left Harvard to come to Northwood, and he started to look at what makes this place so different. And out of those came these tenets that really, I think, go back to the founding fathers. Things like a commitment to free enterprise, limited government in our life. Now, nowhere do we say no government. We just think that limited government and allowing people to live their lives more freely is important to us. Personal and private property, rule of law, and my favorite that I see, Ted, and probably makes our students so attractive to industry, is personal responsibility. That you have to get up in the morning, put your shoes on and get at it. And I see that every day in people like Brooke and our students. I say, look, I love our students because they give me hope. And as you walked around the campus, you don't see graffiti here. You don't see garbage on the ground. And it really comes back to the Northwood idea, how to put all of those things ranging from democratic capitalism, free enterprise, and limited government, personal responsibility, all into one package. And our students start to hear about that even before they arrive at Northwood. At our opening ceremony, I speak to it. And then in the very first year of classes, students are exposed to these types of principles, and I think that they make a great graduate. And again, I know Brooke, and she represents our students so well.
And Kent, if I may follow up with one thing I noticed,
Yeah.
you also provide the students there with real world experience, and you give them they're graduating even before they graduate with hands-on experience in the real world.
Yeah.
What does that look like throughout the university's entire curriculum?
Right. So it's a philosophy that we have at TED that if you think of a classroom, I like to refer to those as artificial spaces, and the notion that one person could stand up there and profess, as a professor does, everything that the student needs to know, that ignores everything we know about how people learn. And our belief is you need great faculty, and we have them, and you do need some classroom work. But the more that we can take that out into the real world and have students apply it, the more likely it is that they're going to be better prepared. What I say to our students when they arrive is, I ask them, "Hey, does anyone here know how to ride a bicycle?" And they all, of course, raise their hand. And then I say, "So who learned to ride a bike in a classroom reading a book?" And I use that analogy because none of them do. And in order to ride a bike, you need to get on it. You need to fall down. You scrape your knees a few times, and you keep going. That's fundamentally how we develop leaders. It's how we develop a deeper learning. And so through Auto Show is just one example of that, but internships and more opportunities for our students to get out and work with industry in the real world, we think deepens the learning experience, and we're very proud of that.
There's a lot to admire here. Brooke, I first met you in October. We did the Fixed Ops Roundtable pop-up event at the 60th Annual International Auto Show. You led a panel, very impressive. Brooke, tell us a little bit more about what that Northwood idea means to you as a student there at the university.
Yeah, so way back my junior year of high school, I had visited Northwood on a bus trip with my marketing class. And I went around campus. I was very enthusiastic about being able to see all the aspects of Northwood's campus in person. But when I had found Northwood, it felt like home and somewhere that I knew I'd be able to feel comfortable, but I'd also be able to put myself into situations that would challenge me and give me that challenge that I deserve and I deserve to have as a student at Northwood. I'd also done a lot of research about Northwood, and knowing that the Northwood idea, Northwood's mission, and Northwood's values, knowing that it all aligned with my values, I knew that it sealed the deal for me that Northwood was the right choice.
I love it. Brooke, let me ask you, while here at Northwood and out in the world doing internships, as many of the students do, how has the Northwood idea influenced you personally?
Yeah, so the Northwood idea has influenced me by giving me a better understanding of how Northwood's education that I'm receiving currently today, it's going to better shape my future. It's definitely an investment that's worth discussing, and I'm currently devoting my time to a Northwood education, which then is giving up the opportunity to devote my time to any other pursuits that I'd be interested in engaging with in the present. Currently, I have an internship with MEMA, or Motor and Equipment Manufacturers Association. I specifically work with the MEMA OE team, or the original equipment team, and it's greatly sparked my interest in working in the automotive industry. And so the experiences that I've had in the classroom have actually prepared me for this internship, as well as helping me feel grounded too.
Kent, I've got to tell you that since we were up there in October at Northwood, Brooke followed up with an email to me, copied of several of people there at Northwood. And I got to tell you, Kent, this was a very professionally done email. And I showed it to a number of my peers, and they said, wow, who wrote this? Is a college student. I said, yes, at Northwood University. So Kent, you're really preparing, and you've really got the best of the best there with your students at Northwood, Kent.
Well, thank you. Look, every president's proud of their students. I do get that. But I'll say that Northwood students, it's part of what happens here. I think we also simply attract great students like Brooke and many others. And there's a level of maturity. I'm sure they have a great time on Friday night, like they should at their age, but there is a sense of maturity, and I think they know what they want to do in their lives, and that is get out and make a difference. You know, Brooke mentioned her investment. It's a really important point, Brooke, I think you make, because I'm not a fan of university rankings, you know, the methodologies that are used, but there is one that Georgetown comes out with, a great, you know, school out on the East Coast, and they look at what is the return on the investment for someone who's going to put their earnings on the table and say, I'm prepared to study with you for 4 years, but where do I show up in 4 years? And I think this is part of the problem where so many graduates are asking for taxpayers to pay their debts based on the programs that they happen to choose. And Georgetown has shown over the last many years that Northwood graduates, this little school in Midland, is in the top 11% of all the 4,500 colleges across the country in terms of the return on investment. So in other words, you come here, you pay a tuition, you make that investment, but where are you going to be in 20 or 30 or 40 years? And I think that's one more aspect that attracts great students like Brooke, and but also is good for mothers and fathers to give some thought to it as well.
Brooke, I want to ask you, how have some of the opportunities at Northwood helped? How have they helped challenge you and help you grow as a person? If you don't mind, maybe if you could, you know, point us to some of those.
Absolutely, yeah. Northwood has so many opportunities for students to apply what they're learning in the classrooms to a full real-world experience. And one of those many real-world experiences that I've been able to be a part of is, as we've mentioned, the Northwood University International Auto Show. This auto show is North America's largest outdoor new car show, and it's 100% student ran. And it's definitely an event that I'm proud to have been a part of. And this year's show, the 60th show, which had taken place the first weekend of October, was truthfully outstanding. I was the marketing chair for this year's show, and being able to guide my marketing team and implement marketing efforts for this show was an unforgettable experience. I'm proud to say that for next year's show, I'm the chief marketing officer, and my team and I already have plans in store for the 61st NUIAS, and we can't wait. I've also worked on campus as a student ambassador for Northwood University admissions, being one of the first faces that prospective students see when visiting NU is a true treasure. I've also had many collaborations with Northwood University's marketing and have been able to utilize my own skill sets with projects of theirs. Another thing, too, is I've also been the co-president of Northwood University's American Marketing Association chapter. I've been able to compete in a couple of sales competitions for AMA, and I've placed well. One of the biggest accomplishments, though, that I'm proud to share of is being sashed as Northwood University's 2023 NU Fresh Air Ambassador. This means that I'm seen as a student leader of Northwood University who exemplifies Northwood's mission, vision, and values, and even their code of ethics, which spell out Fresh Air as an acronym. And so Fresh Air stands for freedom, respect, empathy, spirituality, honesty, achievement, integrity, and responsibility. And I'm very proud to have held this position since this past October, and I hold it alongside of Jalen Pitchford, the other Fresh Air ambassador.
Brooke, when do you graduate?
I will be graduating in May of 2025.
Okay. All right. I think you're gonna be in big demand. Even a lot earlier. Kent, very impressive. You know, when we listen to your students like Brooke.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was going to ask, where do you find the time, Brooke, to fit it all in? You're so much further than I was at your age, and I'm proud of you. You know, the other point here is just coming up very shortly, Ted, when you talk about the different experiences. We'll have a large group of Northwood students heading out to NADA, the same as a couple dozen were at Apex SEMA as well, and that gives a lot of your listeners an opportunity to meet Northwood students. I would encourage all of them to come see our booth. Mike Stanton, he and his team are going to put on a great show. Mike's on our board of trustees, and I'll be out there as well. So I'll look forward to meeting people and again, just seeing our students in action.
Well, I'll give you both the last word in a lightning round. Brooke first, and then I'll come to Kent MacDonald. When people ask you about your experiences at Northwood University and what the future holds, Brooke, what do you tell people? And then I'll come to Kent for the last word.
Yeah, I mean, Northwood isn't just automotive. I would say that we are a premier business school. So anyone who's interested in a career in business, if they talk to me, I always tell them that Northwood is the place to be. And Northwood also has some great competitive programs like AMA that I had mentioned. Our mock trial and competitive speech teams are phenomenal. We also have a robust athletics department that offers many different varsity sports, and both the men and Lady Timberwolves have some competitive programs. We have a very philanthropic Greek community and over 40 registered student organizations on campus. I guess to sum it up, I'd say to me, all of that is Northwood. Opportunities abound for those who are willing to work hard and to challenge themselves to grow as a person, a student, and a future professional. And mostly I tend to look at the return on investment when I talk to others about Northwood. I always tell them that the graduates of my school are leaving employed, and that over a third of our alumni network owns some or all of their own business. So career outcomes and return on investment are big questions that I've gotten. And again, I think that Northwood's track record tends to show that it'll deliver your return on investment, especially if you put in the work and adopt the Northwood idea.
Brooke, very, very impressive. Kent, you've got to be extremely proud of everything happening right now and where Northwood is currently in our industry.
I am. I like to say that others have set the table, and no, I just get to eat from it. And so we do have this wonderful history, Ted. I would just pick up on a couple of really important points that Brooke eloquently shared there. And one is this notion of imagine any university where just over a third of your graduates own or co-own their own company. That's part of what I refer to as Northwood as a business factory. I think in fairness, most business schools now are management schools, but we are unapologetic about our commitment that we think our communities thrive when we can create opportunities through private enterprise. And for every student that comes to Northwood, I see a young person with a hope and a heart and often a dream. And our job here is we're not ever going to compete to be the largest, the richest university, but we do think we transform lives at Northwood. And we have evidence across North America and literally around the world of Northwood graduates who have gone on to do great things. And so if someone's considering where you might want to go to a school, I would encourage them. Look, in everything in life, there's these brand name items, if it's clothing or automotive, but to think a little more deeply about what's the experience, like the things that Brooke shared, and where do you see yourself in 20 years? And we're proud of our record, and this is a loving community, a safe community, and look forward to meeting the next crop of students. Imagine they come, we're in January, so another 8 months, and a whole new crew are headed our way, so we'll look forward to meeting them. But I'm happy that we have Brooke for another year after that, so that's good, Brooke.
Yeah. Northwood is rich in many ways. I'm very grateful today. I'd like to thank Kent MacDonald, who's the president at Northwood University, for spending some time with us, along with Brooke Engelhardt, who's a marketing student and marketing chair of the annual International Auto Show at Northwood, very well known. Kent, thank you so much. And Brooke, thank you so much for your time today, and very honored to have you both with us here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Everybody, a lot of information on Northwood. We'll put it up on the screen. You see the Northwood information there, and we want you to reach out. A lot of opportunities and a lot of great great people have come out and continue to come out of Northwood. So Kent and Brooke, thank you so much today.
Take care. Great.
Kent MacDonald, everybody, and Brooke Engelhardt with us here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.